Tastes like spooky season and happiness. Welcome back to Sippin With Sin, number one podcast about 7 things and stuff that are important to everybody across the world, across the astral plane, from Haddonfield to Crystal Lake. It is the number one podcast of such and things. Welcome back, another week, another episode. Hope you're doing well, doing amazing, doing fantastic. And just don't question the analytics and our ranking, because it is what it is and it's true. And yeah, just accept it. Just accept it, or something that goes bump in the night will appear behind you, and then that's it. You know. That's all we have to say. You know, just saying. Welcome back, another week, another episode. I think 117, which is crazy. And yeah, spooky season, busy time, and we got a lot to talk about. So let's welcome back our Prince of the Darkness, I guess, for this week. We're gonna call him that, the one and only Dreadlock himself, Mr. Christian. Dude, that should be what's your Halloween. You should just tell everybody I'm the Prince of Darkness. I mean, you told everybody you were a Super Saiyan one year, so.
Oh my God, did I?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't even remember that.
You were dancing around the damn fire like a, I don't know.
Oh, dude, I was Grape Drink. That's when I was Grape Drink.
Yeah, you were Grape Drink, but you were dancing around the fire, talking about going damn Super Saiyan and shit. And I was like, what are you talking about right now?
That might have been the beverage talking around that point.
It might have been your first. Was Grape Drink your first Halloween party?
Grape Drink was the first
it was the
one.
first year, because you were here the whole. You come down like Thursday or Friday, I think, maybe Friday, and you were here until like Sunday night. Like you were here for like the whole thing that weekend.
Yeah, I remember. I didn't even mean to be there that long.
We watched a lot of stuff. We watched horror movies. We did spooky stuff, and
we even watched an episode of Game of Thrones. Remember that?
Yeah. We did everything. It was a good weekend, though. It was fun.
It was like, I think it was Battle of the Bastards. I think.
Hell, I don't remember.
But yeah, we did a lot. But yeah, that year. There was some crazy stuff going on at the old homestead. So I didn't mean to be there that late, but I did have a blast. It was awesome. I always have a good time though when I go to your parties. It's always great.
If you guys and gals out there listening, maybe you'll get a picture from shenanigans this year, because I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure it'll be lots of shenanigans. Maybe it'll be me sleeping in like the yard or something, just exhausted. Definitely not intoxicated, just exhausted. Just want to take a cat nap.
That's fair though. Honestly, that's fair.
Dude, I'm ready. I think I'm ready though.
All right. I'm ready too, because like, first of all, it's our favorite time of the year, so there's that. But then also, it's just fun to dress up. It's fun to act a fool. It's fun to just have a libation or two.
Can we talk about the dress up thing? You know how everybody says you're too old to dress up. You know, whenever you start getting older and you're no longer trick or treating and stuff, they can all shut the hell up, because here I am, a grown ass man, still dressing up every year, still keeping my costume secret until the day of. Like, you can just leave me alone. I'm gonna dress up until I just don't want to dress up anymore. I love it. I think everybody dressing up and coming in costumes is a blast.
That's fair. But like, for me, it's like, how do you not have fun doing that? You don't have to be a child in order to like not be yourself for a day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that's the thing. We are ourselves. We are still us at our core. We're just fully indulging in the fun of the holiday, right?
Yeah.
So we have fun that way. And we are in the horror community like full-fledged. So like, how do you not enjoy that shit? How are you a horror fan and not want to dress up for Halloween? How are you a horror fan and not want to like essentially have a party celebrating your hobby, like your thing, with other people that enjoy the same thing that you enjoy? It's just, to me, it just seems like the quickest way to have a great time. You know what I'm saying? Why would you deprive yourself of that? But there are people who just like to be like to be pissed off and unhappy. So that maybe that's what I'm sensing there.
It's also not hot as balls outside, and you can like have a hoodie on over like your costume or something and be. Ooh.
Speaking of hoodies, for those of you watching this right now, my first hoodie of the season is on right now. I actually just bought it. This is literally a hoodie I bought to just wear at work. It didn't have anything horror related on it. It's a Hurley black hoodie, but like, I literally stepped outside today and the nips were like, pew, put a hoodie on. So
but it made you happy when the nips were like, pew.
It did.
I'm not gonna lie. I walked outside pretty much my underwear and was like, oh, hell yeah, it's cold.
Mhm.
I like it.
Mhm.
And then I kind of did like a twirl, like a slow motion twirl, my arms out.
Slow motion twirl.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are new here, or I actually hate the cold, but I do like wearing a hoodie. I will say, but because my hair is so long now, hoodies are getting harder and harder to get in and out of. So I'm probably gonna switch to wearing like a bunch of sweatshirts, but still something big over a t-shirt. It's fun to have on. I still love hoodies, and I'm still going to buy them. Still going to waste money on hoodies for sure. But I'm definitely going to invest in some sweatshirts this year, so I don't have to worry about wrestling my hair in and out of a hoodie. It's sometimes it's a bitch for sure.
All right. So, what we like to do to start every episode, we like to talk about what we're watching, reading, listening to, or playing. I mean, I can run through my stuff. It's pretty much only thing I've really done is my 31 Nights of Horror, and I'll just kind of give you what I watched. I haven't really got to play anything. I did finish Demon Slayer. I was able to platinum it finally, the game.
Oh, I forgot you. I forgot you bought it. Like literally forgot.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Like it's been a slow thing just because I don't have a lot of time. So I was able to finally platinum that just because I was determined. I was like, this is my favorite anime. Damn it, I will platinum this game. And so I did it.
What was the hardest part about trying to get that platinum on that game? I'm curious.
Some of there was like 2 or 3. There was like one. Well, there's probably 2 fights that were pretty tricky.
Mhm.
Well, actually, probably 3 fights that were kind of tricky to get an S on. And then there was like a mini game that was kind of tricky. It was like a super fast time thing. It was like
Gotcha.
crazy combination and pattern. But other than that, like
Okay.
it really wasn't that bad.
Okay. Just curious.
It's fun though. I mean, it could have probably been absolute dog shit, and I probably still would have liked it just because it's Demon Slayer. But all right, what I've watched, my 31 Nights of Horror. I have watched Beetlejuice again. I watched that. We had the mother-in-law and brother-in-law come over, and we had like a little movie night and watched it. So I got to watch that for the second time. I watched Event Horizon.
Nice.
And
Nice.
I hadn't seen all of it. I had seen part of it, and I watched it, and it was cool. It's a sci-fi horror, crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, kind of like I think that one is a little more cosmic horror than I remember it being. It's been a minute since I've seen it.
It's
I
like
think that one's a cosmic horror
black
film.
holes and shit.
Yeah. Cosmic horror for sure.
I've watched Sinister.
Nice.
We actually had a community movie night and watched Sinister, so that counted. The Missus, I'm sure we'll talk about this, with Terrifier 3 coming out and all the hype and everything going on. The Missus was like, I never watched Terrifier because I'd already watched it. She's like, I've never watched Terrifier. I think I need to try it. And I was like, look, it's low budget.
Yeah.
It is gory. And the first one is way more bare bones than the second one. The second one, they had a bigger budget, you could tell. So we watched Terrifier, and I have to say, first off, her thing, which is a win for me, she said it's not as bad as I thought it would be. She expected it to be worse. And I think what she likes about it is art. And the more I watch Terrifier 1 and 2, the more I appreciate art for what he is. And I think he is a big part. Like, just the little things he does. Like...
Yeah, I mean, I have some things to say about Terrifier in general, but I think
we'll talk
hold
more
those.
about it here in a second.
Yeah.
Not to derail, but yeah, watch first Terrifier. We're gonna watch the second one. We were gonna watch it the next night, but it was getting late, and I want to say it's like I already told her Terrifier 2, and I think you told me this also. Terrifier 2 is about 20 minutes too long. It is solid, but it drags on 20 minutes longer than it needs to. They literally could end it 20 minutes before, and it would be great. But they drag it on unnecessarily, and I told her that, and it's 2 hours and... I want to say it's like 2 hours and 20 or something, like 2 hours 16.
It's either two... It's like 2:20, 2:30. Like, it's long as hell.
Like we said, 20 minutes too long, so she was like, okay, that's a little longer than I wanted to do tonight, so we didn't do it on that one. But instead, I watched In a Violent Nature again.
Yeah.
and I got
You
to
watch,
like
what were you
actually
watching
focus
that
on it
via?
more. Do what?
Did you watch that through Shutter or something
Yeah,
else?
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Violent nature. Uh, I like it. I like the premise. There's parts, but the kills are cool. He is like a Jason. Looks cool, and it's a fresh idea of following the killer. I do like it. Other than that, I also watch Studio 666. Please tell me you've
With
watched
Dave
this.
Grohl,
Yes, Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters. I
I
think is it all of the
I
Foo Fighters?
I don't even remember. I haven't seen it. I saw it last night. It popped up, but I was watching something else we were supposed to be watching, so I didn't get into it.
So I will say this: Mrs. Sim was like, I'm not even super worried about that one. You can just watch that one on your own tonight. And I watched it, and I had low expectations because I mean, Dave Grohl's your star. No offense, Dave Grohl,
Mhm.
he's awesome. But I was like, this movie's not gonna be the best, and it is not the best for sure. But it has really good practical effect kills that kind of impress me.
Mhm.
Like the demons and stuff are very cheesy, and like the CGI
Yeah.
effects from them are very cheesy. But it was fun. Like as a music fan and stuff, it was fun to watch. And like I said, the practical effect kills, I was not. They were like some straight up '80s old school like kills, and I was like, wow, I'm kind of into that a little bit. So it's all right. And then the last movie I watched, because another one is one we'll talk about later for that segment, but I watched Speak No Evil.
Nice. Speaking of
The
evil,
new one with what's his face? What's his face?
James McAvoy.
Yeah, dude, he is. First off, he is a brick shithouse in it. Jesus Christ! From
I'm
the
glad that
opening
that
scene when the
term
dude
is
was in
rubbing off.
shorts and I could see his calves and stuff, I was like, dude is like jacked.
He is.
But solid movie, pretty cool movie, not bad at all. It is a remake, right? Because it's a foreign one that came
Yeah.
out like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Danish? No,
Yeah, no, it's a Danish film.
it
You're
is
right.
Danish. Okay, yeah. So those are the movies I've watched, and that's been about it that I can think of this week. Nothing too crazy. What about you?
For the sake of time, I'm going to talk about all the stuff I've been watching, reading, all that, and then I'm also going to talk about some news, just like all in one, so it'll just be a little more streamlined. Just for the sake of time. But I have what I've been reading. Last week, I was reading a book, Meddling Kids. I think we talked about it in tandem, and I showed you guys the cover. I didn't finish that book. I got over halfway done, but the book didn't get better. You know what I mean? Like I'm halfway through the book, and I was like, I was waiting for something else to happen, for a revelation to come up, for something. And like I got revelations and stuff and like little twists and turns, but they just weren't what I wanted. And the characters are starting to get more and more annoying to read. So much so that like I felt myself just like dragging through the book, like trying to get finished so that I could read something else. So I ended up putting that book down. Like I said, I got about, if I had to give a percentage, I say I got about 60% done. Like I was over half, but not over half enough for me to just finish it. So I'd say like 60% done with the book. And it was like I said, it started out cool and it kind of started to peter out and it just didn't get better. Just didn't get better. Just kind of flatlined. So I stopped. And then I started reading another book called Mayfly that I've been hearing about. Um, I don't have the copy with me here. It's in another room, but I'm reading Mayfly right now, and right now it's about the girl who she's essentially Patrick Bateman. Like she's completely untethered, but she has two people that she cares about. She has a best friend that she loves, and she has her grandmother who she's totally here for because her grandmother is practically the exact same as her. They look the same, they act the same, they talk the same, that kind of thing. And her grandmother's teaching her how to be a person uh, in this world without being a person, essentially. And I haven't gotten to it just yet, but it's very clear that this woman is like some kind of like serial killer. So that's cool to see. And then her best friend's brother comes into town. She lives in LA. Best friend's brother comes into town. His name's Gideon. and Gideon is pretty much everything she hates in dudes. He's like the super buff jock boy that she doesn't like. But he's very persistent when it comes to pursuing her, and he's into a lot of the same stuff that she's into, which lets me know as the reader that he's going to be crazy serial killer esque as well. So I'm just waiting to get to that part in the actual novel itself. But with that said, I am enjoying this book. I'm enjoying the pacing. I'm enjoying the reading about the character. I'm enjoying how all the characters have met. Like even when she talks about stuff that happened beforehand, like flashbacks, all of it's very interesting and it's gripping. And the way that it is written is it's not super pretentious like something like this could be. So I'm enjoying it so far. And I hope that I finish it here soon because there's a couple of other books that I really want to try to read before spooky season's over. So I'm trying real hard to kind of blow through this book, and I don't know if I will exactly do that, but I'm trying. So we'll see. Like the next time that we get on here and you guys start listening to me talk about what I'm doing, hopefully I can tell you guys, yeah, I finished that book. It was awesome. I'm on to this. But there's another book that I really want to read called Saving Noah. There's a couple of books. Like I don't know a whole like some of the books that I get, I only read a super quick little excerpt about them so that I don't know a bunch of stuff. Because if I've learned that if when it comes to books, if I know too much about the book, I won't read it. But there's another book that's out called Mary that I really want to read. Tell Me I'm Worthless, Brainworms. Like there's a bunch of stuff I'm trying to read right now. So hopefully I can get through these things pretty quickly and start reading the next ones. But I'm excited, man. We'll see what happens. Really excited.
Okay.
Other than that, you were mentioned earlier off pod about games that I was playing. I do have two new games. One of them is not even opened out of the package yet. It's literally sitting over there. You can probably see it. You see if I can grab it.
Man's got to flex his game again. Look, just because I don't have Silent Hill 2 doesn't mean you get to keep showing it off over and over again.
Silent Hill 2, not even out the package, as you can see, still in the plastic. I just haven't had time to play this. And the reason why I haven't had time to play this is because, one, I don't get a lot of free time in general. And two, there was another game that came out that I knew I was going to be playing a lot of, which I will actually try to play tomorrow before I have to get into some actual real life stuff. But that game is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I don't have the case because it's over by my PlayStation right now. But let me just talk about that game for a quick second. I love that game. It's great. It's difficult. It's a lot of shit to learn. If you like arena fighters, this is definitely the arena fighter for you. Everybody who's played Dragon Ball games before has like the type that they like. You got the Budokai players like myself. You have the Tenkaichi players. Then you have the Dragon Ball fighters players, right? And you get a little bit of everything in this one. It's a little bit less fighters though because it's an arena, so you're moving around the map completely instead of just being side scrolling. But with this one, it plays pretty much just like the Tenkaichi games, with the story mode more so of like a Budokai game, with like the add-ons of a Budokai game, with the character collection of a Budokai. So it's kind of like that. So one thing about this game that I can tell you that immediately got my attention that doesn't happen in fighting games these days. You start off with certain characters and then you unlock the characters by playing the fucking game. Can you imagine? Can you imagine buying a game and then having to play the game, extra stuff in the game? Like I know that sounds like something that every game has and that we've been doing for years, but you'd be remiss to know that's not the case anymore. Most games now have all the characters you can get right away, and then you can only unlock little extra perks about the characters or costumes or whatever. But in this one, like I said, you unlock the characters, you unlock the costumes, you unlock different stages, you unlock different music for the game, like all the stuff in a game that you want to play in order to get. That's what you have in this. And yes, there are characters in the game that you can buy with like in-game money, not real money, in-game money. So you don't have to get to that part of the story mode in order to get them. So for an example, I'm not a huge Goku player, right? Like I like Goku just like everybody else does, but that's not the character that I want to play. But I also love like Future Gohan. For those of you who are into Dragon Ball, you know who Future Gohan is, right? One-armed Future Gohan from Trunks' timeline. Future Trunks' timeline. that is my favorite character aside from like Bardock, right? So I love Future Gohan, and I wanted to play him ASAP. So I used the in-game money that you get for just playing the game in order to buy him, so I didn't have to play through Trunks as part of the story in order to get him. So I'm playing him. He's my main character right now. I love Future Gohan so much. Like they gave me exactly what I wanted with that character. There's a bunch of characters in the game. Of course, there's some characters that are not in the game that I wish were in the game, but there's so many other characters in the game that I'm really just not in the mood, I guess, to complain. We do have DLC coming out, I believe, next year for the game, like first quarter of next year, and most of those are Dragon Ball Super characters or characters from the latest movies, and like Daima that just dropped, by the way. So stuff like that. But the game is extremely fun. IGN gave it a 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10 would be fine if they didn't rate a bunch of games that were straight fucking butt cheeks recently a 7. Like the new Star Wars uh, Rogue, I forget what it's called, Rogue Squadron. I don't remember anymore what that game is called, but Star Wars, whatever that came out, that game's ass. They gave that a 7. They gave, I forget what's the name of that game that just came out, and then they when it came out because it was so trash. It was like oh my god, what's that game called? Um, I'll think about it like while you're talking about something much more important than video games, and then bring it up because of
What was it?
ADD.
What kind of game was it?
It was like I think it was another one of those looter games. Um, man, I can't think of the name of that game.
Concord.
Concord. Yes, they gave Concord a 7. How is that game on the same level as Dragon Ball, which sold so many million copies that it dropped? And then I'm talking about physical copies. This is excluding the digital copies that it sold like early and shit. So like Dragon Ball Spark, if you're even 50% of a Dragon Ball fan, this is the game for you, bro. Like I love this game. The online is fun. It's real sweaty right now though, by the way. Like the online is fun, the story mode is fun, the extra stuff you can do in the game itself that I don't want to ruin for people who haven't played it yet. Like there's so much to do in the game, so even after you beat the story, you have plenty of stuff that you can do before you start getting like the Dragon Ball fatigue. You know what I mean? And this game, like the game is hard, dude. Like there are characters in the game who will beat your ass. Like there's a lot of people who complained about grade 8 Vegeta fighting him, how it was such a bitch, and they died a bunch of times. I'm gonna be honest, I only died one time fighting him and beat him, but that was just my experience. I'll tell you a character that beat the dog shit out of me, and I got so mad that I cut the game off. Majin Buu, like first stage Majin Buu, like Fat Buu, he beat my ass, bro. Like I literally didn't hit him. I didn't even hit him. That's how bad he beat me. It was insane.
So it was like
and
playing
another,
as me.
It was like playing against somebody who's really good at the game.
Yeah, me.
Saying, oh, oh.
Yeah.
That was a good one. That was a good one. I like that. But no, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, no, you're.
And he cut out, so we don't hear what he said.
It was meant to be. I was meant to cut out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like Majin Buu destroyed me. Beerus destroyed me. There was another character that I played, and this was just me doing Goku storyline, by the way. I haven't even experienced it, but fighting Majin Vegeta. Like Majin Vegeta started off beating me really bad, and then he just kind of like I just kind of figured him out. You know what I mean? I figured him out, and I beat. I also like have a love-hate relationship. Excuse me. I have a love-hate relationship with Majin Vegeta. Like I think that Majin Vegeta as a character is cool. Like everybody thinks Majin Vegeta is cool. Let's be honest. He's got the M on his head. He's got some cool moves. He's got the blue jumpsuit on without the Saiyan armor. He looks cool. He did the Final Atonement move, which is awesome. But Vegeta in general, I have a love-hate relationship. I think Vegeta is one of the characters who gets a lot of the coolest stuff in the show. He has like the most, aside from Trunks, Vegeta's got the most drip of any character in Dragon Ball. Every time he shows up, he's got something different, right? Like every time he shows up, he's got something different. Saiyan armor has little tweaks. The blue jumpsuit with the tweaks. Sometimes it's black, sometimes it's blue. He's got all kinds of shit going on for him, thanks to Bulma. And he has moments where he's awesome. But I also can't fucking stand Vegeta, and I know that's like slander to the Dragon Ball world. TJ, if you're listening, I know that's slander, but like he just does some stuff in Dragon Ball Z, not necessarily in Super or anything. Like after Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta is exactly what you need him to be, which is reliable. But like before then, oh my god, dude, he shows up. You super like in the Android saga, Super Saiyan. He shows up, pops Android 20, I believe, 19, kills him, and then talks all his shit. And then Piccolo's like, actually, Vegeta's out of energy, and it's just like I knew it. I knew he was out of energy because he was talking all that shit, and he used all his power trying to kill 19 to begin with, and then he let 19 like siphon a bunch of his energy off, trying to prove a point and all that. But he's cool when he's doing it, and then it's like, actually, Vegeta, you're such a pos. Then he's fighting. Was it 18? Does the same thing, but he gets his ass whipped. He gets his arm broken off, and he's just like all pissed off. And Trunks is trying to talk to him. He's like, "Shut up, Trunks! You don't know anything." I'm like, "What do you mean he doesn't know anything? He lives from a world where these androids have killed everyone, including you. Like, relax." But that's my tangent. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is such a good game. If I had to rate it out of 10, I give it 8.5, solid 8.5. Like the only reason I don't think I would give it a 9 or a 10 is because there are things that I wish were a little bit different. There are some things that I think they could tweak in the game. And I mean, if they're talking about giving us 180 characters, give us 180 characters that are fully different. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't count Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, 4 Goku as different characters. I know that those Gokus have certain moves that are different, but at the end of the day, you're still playing Goku, right? So, like, that's one of the things that's kind of annoying. But that said, I will say they put some time in making this game because even though I just complained about it, Super Saiyan Goku plays a little different from Super Saiyan 2 Goku because his moveset's slightly different. Super Saiyan 3's Goku has a different special move than the other two Gokus, right? Super Saiyan 4 Goku, the way that he fights is a little bit different. The way that he kicks is a little bit different. The way that he blasts is a little bit different. So they do give you that. But when I'm playing like Vegeta, I know I'm harping on Vegeta, and I apologize to the Vegeta fans. He plays almost the same, but every level of Vegeta you get higher and higher, he does just get better and better. I'm not even gonna lie. But all the Vegetas are pretty good, minus like the very first version of him. All the Vegetas are pretty solid. Playing them, their move set is unique enough for you to feel like you're doing better each time you excel with Vegeta. But he also is just a pretty well-rounded character. And I could say the same for Goku, but with Goku, it's just like if you're not using Super God Kamehameha on somebody, you could just pick anybody else that has the Kamehameha, right? Which is half the characters in the fucking game. But do love the game so much. I'll move on to what else I've been doing so that we can get on to some other stuff. The other thing I wanted to talk about was I think it dropped today because it's when I saw it. At the time of this recording, today, trailer dropped for a movie that I mentioned a couple of times on the podcast that's coming out in December. And that movie is called Werewolves. Sin, have you seen the trailer for Werewolves?
No, I have not seen it, but I know it dropped today. I didn't get a chance to see it.
Okay, so without me ruining anything, I can't really.
I mean, I would just talk about it. It's fine. It's a trailer. Like, it's not.
The plot, listen. First off, let me just say, sign me up. Sign me the fuck up for this movie. It's Werewolves, so I'm already there.
Yeah.
But this movie, I swear to God, the plot is just The Purge, but werewolves. That's the movie. I know it sounds weird, but the way they explain it is the supermoon showed up years ago, turned everybody into a werewolf, and now it's happening again. So there's this one night that's coming up that scientists have told the world, like, hey, don't be outside on this night. Everybody who's out is going to turn into a werewolf or whatever. And then literally Frank Grillo from The Purge 2, who's like Crossbones in the Captain America movies and all that shit, he's like the main character. And it's funny because it's another Purge movie. He's like setting up, doing his Punisher shit, and boom, werewolves just start popping the fuck off everywhere, and he's killing these werewolves. It's like I'm here for it. You get animatronic werewolves, you get the makeup. It's not all CGI. It seems like they're using CGI to enhance some things, like glowing eyes and shit. But like, it feels like a old school, like 80s action werewolf movie, and I'm like, yes. Give me all of it right now. I'll buy 3 tickets just for shits and gigs right now. So, do I think this movie is going to be awesome? Absolutely not. Do I think it's going to be fun? Absolutely. And I can't wait. So, Sin, once you see the trailer, I think you'll feel very
I
similar
mean,
to
you have me
me.
at werewolves. I'm already gonna watch it. Like I don't even
Exactly.
have to watch. You're saying there's werewolves in it? Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, more than one werewolf,
Yeah,
absolutely. And they're killing people, yes. And they're like people in suits and animatronics and shit. It's not full CGI all the time, absolutely. So yeah, and the werewolves kind of look like a combination of. Have you seen the movie Bad Moon?
yeah.
Okay, so they look like that werewolf. It's like that mixed with the werewolves from Underworld, like the first Underworld movie.
Okay.
They look like that. So I'm here for it. Like one of the werewolves you see in the trailer a couple of times look like it's got like a mohawk almost. And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
I'm for it. I'm into
Yeah,
it.
I'm totally here for that movie. I do want to see it. Um, but yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been watching, reading, playing. Like I said, I haven't played Silent Hill yet, but I will get to it. I just really needed to devote some time to Dragon Ball while I had the chance. And aside from that, some stuff that I know we're going to talk about here in a minute, but I want to ask you a question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a side question, but it's horror related. So here,
I thought you were gonna say, "How's it feel not to have any of the games I'm talking about?" And I'm like, "Well, it hurts a little bit."
man, I'm not that petty. Like I
I
wouldn't do you
mean,
like
I don't know.
that.
You're kind of petty. It
Not that petty.
it
That's too
stings.
petty.
It
That's
stings.
that's a little too petty. But like, which one of those games would you even get? Would you play Dragon
Both.
Ball or Silent Hill? I mean, if you could only pick one, like which one would you choose?
Probably Silent Hill first.
Fair. That's absolutely fair. And I'm probably a bigger Dragon Ball fan than you.
I want to play Dragon Ball though. I feel like it would be a lot of fun. Like, it's I'm not gonna be able to play Silent Hill around my son more than likely. Like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
probably
probably
not.
not the smartest thing to do. But
Yeah,
Dragon
very
Ball, I
true.
could totally play, and I'm sure he would get a kick out of it. Cause
Oh yeah.
so I mean, that one I could probably get more time into, and I could
Mhm.
play online with like you and like if TJ gets it and other people, like that would be fun. So I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely think that's worth a get for me just for that alone.
I'm super excited, dude. I hope that eventually you're able to get that. It's not like a necessity, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um, but the question I was gonna ask is, it's super random, and I know. Have you ever bought a horror like car freshener?
I don't understand what you said the last thing. Oh, what? A
Have you ever
horror
bought
what?
a horror themed car freshener? Like, for an example, it's a little Jason
Oh yeah,
mask,
yeah.
but it's a
Well, I
car
didn't buy
freshener.
one. I've got one though. I've had one before. I
Okay,
think I had a Jason one.
what was the scent on yours? Do you remember?
I don't. It come in. I used to get a thing way back. It was Nerd Block used to have the horror block,
Mhm.
and they sent a car freshener one time, and I don't remember what it smelled like. But I was just like,
Okay,
this is random.
it is random. The reason why I'm asking is because every single spooky season, every year, I want to buy car fresheners, but they're always vanilla. And I'm just like, that's literally the scent that I don't want in my
Why would
car.
they be vanilla though?
I don't know, but it's every single year. I saw like a pack. It was like the Michael mask. It was 78 Michael mask. It was Halloween 2 Michael mask, and Michael mask from like Rob Zombie's like 2007, and it was all vanilla. And I was like, what the hell? And everything I find, either Jason mask, everything, all vanilla. And I just hate it so much. So I was like, where can I find
I mean, I like
horror
vanilla, but that just
themed?
doesn't. I don't know. I don't like that. It should be like. It should smell like fall,
Yeah, something, anything at this point.
like that
But
kind of
vanilla
scent.
is like the worst one, dude. I get so pissed. Yeah, I was just curious because, like I said, every single year I look for them because I think that they're cool and I want to put them up in my car. But I found a trick or treat one. It was Sam with and without the
That
the,
should be a
the
pumpkin
pumpkin
smell.
mask. Something, but it was vanilla as well.
Oh my
And I
god.
was just like, dude, I hate everything. I hate everything.
I feel like before we shift gears to anything else, we would be doing a disservice if we did not talk about a franchise that is a lot of buzz right now.
Mm.
And I believe they're the number one movie in the box office, right?
I think so. I think
Because
so.
they dethroned Joker 2 like immediately. And I think
Oh,
Joker 2 had like I don't want to say historic. I feel like I read it was historic, but I don't want to be wrong, like misinformation. But I know they dropped like 81%.
Oh yeah, Joker.
Joker 2 is like
Yeah.
it'll be out for rent and digital in no time. It is
Oh
like
yeah.
doing really bad.
Famously bad,
Yeah.
if you will.
And yeah, I mean, yeah. But we're not talking about Joker 2. We're talking about Terrifier. So Terrifier jumped a really bad Joker. If Joker would have been like Joker 1, then no shot it would be even close to it. But Terrifier 3 is out and is getting reviews. People I love seeing that somebody took like their kids to go see it and left like at the beginning. I'm like, why would you think that is a great idea to go see? Like,
It's
clearly you are
called
clueless on
Terrifier.
Terrifier.
What is wrong with you? I saw a TikTok of that just the other day where somebody told their sister or mom or whatever that they were going to see a family film. And like, I don't know if you guys have seen the first scene of Terrifier. Apparently it's leaked all over. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. Apparently the first scene of Terrifier 3 has leaked on the internet and you can watch it if you want to. With that said, this person took this woman to go see this movie. The scene happens and somebody's getting chopped up with a fucking axe. And she's like, oh my God, bro, you fucking lied to me. This isn't a family movie. And people behind her are laughing at her. And I was like, this is probably like staged, but even if it isn't, that's hilarious.
I mean, I would be the person laughing behind him like, really? You're in here and
Yes.
you're shocked at this? Like, come on.
Yeah, man. Like you didn't catch the vibes. Like as soon as like just with the trailers that are being shown for this, you didn't realize what was going on.
I mean, you see the poster, you're just that oblivious to what's going on. You're just like, Terrifier. This looks like a wholesome movie. Look at that clown.
Okay, Sin, real quick. I know that it's a side tangent for everybody listening and not watching. I am on Trick or Treat Studios. I have a tab open for it, and I literally just clicked over to make sure that the website was still pulled up because I was looking.
Why are you on Trick or Treat Studios?
Air freshener. It's a tab open.
I know. Why do you have a tab open for Trick or Treat Studios?
I have it open because, like I was saying just a second ago, I was looking for air literally everywhere, and all of the air fresheners that I can find are all vanilla. And I'm just pissed.
Oh my God.
So yeah, just throwing it out there. Yeah. Another vanilla. Great. That was all. Sorry for that.
Yeah. Are you done with your vanilla rant?
I'm done.
Just get vanilla.
Vanilla rant. That's the name of the episode right there.
Vanilla rant.
Vanilla rants. Yeah, I love it. Anyway, though, but yeah, like Terrifier's doing great right now. I do want to see it. My wife actually offered to take me to go see it, but I was like, I don't know if you're gonna be able to like sit and watch this thing. So like maybe that's a movie I should watch by myself and just like let you know whether or not it's something that you would be interested enough to like not leave. So I didn't want to put her through that not knowing if it was something that she could finish. But I definitely plan on going to see that with the quickness. So that'll happen here soon.
I don't know that I'll get to see it in theaters, but I definitely want to see it as soon as I can.
I mean, I love supporting stuff like that, and I hope it's good. Like, I watched the first one, and I have thoughts about the Terrifier franchise in general, but I mean, thoughts aside, I still want to see the movie. I still want it to be good. I still want them to keep going.
What are your thoughts? I feel like you're about to start fussing about it.
I mean, a little bit.
Oh, here we go.
Right? Like, actually,
does this involve
I saw the first one. Not this time.
Okay.
Not this time. But like with the franchise, I like what they're doing. I think that having more why as a horror fan, why would you not want other horror movies to like be a thing? Why would you not want other horror icons to be a thing? It can't always be Michael, it can't always be Jason, it can't always be Freddy, you know what I mean? So like we need more. Problem that I have, but like let's start with the first one. With the first one, there's not much of a plot of the movie. It's literally just Art brutally murdering some women, right? Like a couple dudes, but like mostly women. And like whatever, that's cool. That's what we're going to see. That's what we're paying for. Let's do it. Not complaining about that. Just saying I expected there to be more of a story, but then when I realized that it wasn't a story, it was just straight murder, I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. With the second one, you get more story, and it's a lot of story, which is the problem. A lot of story about these characters we haven't seen before. You end up liking her because she is like, you know, the heroine in this movie. She's the survivor in this movie. She goes through some shit, and she should probably be dead if we're being honest. But whatever, she's alive. We're doing it. We'll have another movie coming out. Like, that's so cool. But the movie's just way too fucking long. And I know that we were talking about it just earlier in the podcast, talking about how it was 20 minutes too long. It was probably more like 30 minutes too long. And the reason why I'm thinking that is because some of the backstory we got, we didn't really need. Some of the montage scenes we got, we didn't really need. And then, like, I'm not going to complain about the gratuity of the kills just because that's the purpose of this film, of these films. Like, just to be ridiculously gory. Just like the scene from In a Violent Nature. I know you know which one I'm talking about. That kill that's just ridiculous. Like, that's what these movies exist for. So, like, I'm here for it. But, like, I want to see that. Like, I don't need you to tell me for 15 minutes how this girl is sad because dad died. Like, I understand that, but unless it's like furthering the story, why are we talking about that? That's not why we're here. And then art is the other thing that bothers me a little bit. What even is art at this point? Like, I don't even know what art is. I just know that if I see him, I'm going the other way immediately because there's no way I'm gonna win. There's nothing I can do. But like, I don't know what his power set is. I don't know like what kind of creature he is at this point. Like, I just have no clue. And like, a part of me is kind of happy that I don't know because I love lore and backstory behind like these characters, but only if it adds to the story, only if it makes sense. So if his backstory is some crazy, stupid, dumb shit, like, just
I think
leave it
they should
out and
just
just
keep
keep
him
giving
like almost like a Michael, just
ambiguous.
evil. Like, all you need to
Yeah,
know is he's some kind of evil entity that pretty much you're not going to kill.
yeah,
Just
and that's what
and
I'm.
that and be
Yeah,
done. Just leave it alone.
that's absolutely what I'm getting at. Like, at first, I was really upset about it because like, he just does shit, right? If you've seen the movie, I'm trying to be vague enough in case, but like, he just does some shit in these movies, and I'm like, what are you? But at the same time, I kind of don't want them to tell me because I don't trust the filmmakers and the studios and stuff to give me a backstory that's what I actually need it to be, and not just some crazy stupid shit. Actually, he's the son of Satan, and he kills all these people Halloween night because he's trying to bring his dad back. Like, I don't know. I just made that shit up, but that's
I mean,
what it
that could be
feels
what they
like.
actually do. Sadly, I don't know. I don't know that I don't want to know. I kind of like the less is
Yeah,
more approach.
yeah. The less is more approach is typically better, and like I said, the only reason why it bothers me here is because Art the clown goes through some shit, and I'm just like, all right, bro, you're actually dead right now. You're actually dead right. Like, no other horror entity whatsoever could sustain the amount of damage that you sustained and be alive. And then bam, he's just getting back up or like reconstituting himself or whatever the fuck. And I'm just like, bro, how? So like, because we're 3 movies in at this point and we don't know what he is, it's just better to leave it like that. And I don't know what this third movie has in store. Like, I haven't watched it yet at the time of this recording. I plan on watching it, and I kind of just hope we get more of the same. Like, I just want him killing stuff. I want him being Mark the Clown, and I want whoever the survivor of this movie is to be like relatable and cool because we did get that in the last one in Terrifier 2. Like I said, the movie's just long as hell for no reason. Like, we just like, at one point he had killed the same bitch like 4 times, and I was just like, bro, she dead. Just
No,
leave
you
her
got to
alone
make
and move
sure.
on.
It's like Jeepers and dude stabbing him. You gotta make sure. Just do it again.
Yeah, you're absolutely. That's the best analogy for that, actually. But yeah, man, that's really like my, I
Art
guess,
is
hot take
likable
is.
though. I think that's like a big selling point of him is like he's really evil looking. If you see him, like he's really creepy. The whole mime thing, not talking, I'm a big fan of. I like, again, less is more.
Same,
Don't talk.
same,
He doesn't need to talk.
same,
I
same,
think
same.
it'll ruin it. Let him be quiet and just making gestures. But the gestures can be hilarious from like the little weird waves and like I love that. I think that's the big selling point for Art for me. And the movies are Gorefest, Carnage Candy, all that stuff. Like, I mean, that's what they are. You just
Yeah,
you watch
100%.
Terrifier, you know that's what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
I did see that the director, the creator, said that he doesn't know how many more Terrifiers there are. He would like to say maybe 1, 2, but like it doesn't sound like he wants to string out to make like where I guess eventually, lack of better terms, like makes a parody of itself. Like where it's just doing it just because. Like I think he kind of has a vision like, hey, eventually we're gonna cut him off. Like we're gonna be, or at least he's gonna be done. Whether or not a studio does whatever with it, but
I think that he's definitely going to do another one because that's the talk
they're
of the
already
town right
writing,
now.
I think, right?
Yeah, he's definitely doing 4, which could lead into 5. But once he's done, I can't remember his name right now, but the actor that plays, he'll be done too. So if the studio buys the rights from this guy or whatever, like I think we're only getting 5 of these at best, and then we're out. Which I'm here for because
They
then we
started
can
in
keep talking.
2016, and then we've got one. Terrifier 2 come out last year before.
Year before, came out the year before.
So I mean, they're starting to like be boom, boom, boom. Like they're picking up speed.
And this because he doesn't pay much for these. He makes them for dirt cheap.
I think Terrifier 3 definitely has the biggest budget. It was a studio budget, right?
Yeah. Each one has a bigger budget, and I'll actually check that
while you do that, Scuba Chat said the guy is super nice that plays art. That's something else I've been seeing all over. I think he's actually Christian, not far from us. I think he is from Alabama. I think he's from like south of us in like Huntsville or something.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, the budget for this one
you see him everywhere, and he's really friendly, full art costume, messing with people, and like I'll hear nothing but great stuff about him. He also played the meme one. Oh, his name's like David Thornton something, isn't it? What is his name?
Shoot, I can't remember. David Howard.
David Howard. Isn't it a 3 name?
It might be. Let me check because you were about to say Gordon Green.
No, it's
Thornton.
David Howard Thornton. Yeah, David Howard Thornton. But I see nothing but like the dude is like a gem. He's like so nice, like all the things he goes and does. I don't know. I'm glad before you go back. I'm really glad to have art. We just need more horror icons. That's what it boils down to. We've been on a very dry slump. You know, like you said, we can't always just have the Michaels, Jasons, and Freddys just keep remaking them over and over again. It's nice to have a fresh new one that, you know, will he ever be up on the Mount Rushmore? Probably not. But I mean, to have one that like we can be like, okay, Art the Clown, horror icon. You know, like it's nice to have a new one out here. And I guess that's this generation's one that aren't going to be as familiar with Michaels other than remakes and stuff. Or
that's true.
Jason's or Freddy's. Because I mean, at this point, dude, they're how old? What's Michael's 40 years old since they come out?
Yeah.
And I mean,
it's over 40 now, but yeah, 40 years.
So I mean, that's crazy. But for like me and Christian's generation, like obviously you're never gonna touch the like R3. R3 is a little different because you're gonna put the 90s. You're gonna throw Ghostface on yours.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna put the Ghostface on mine for sure.
Who would you say is on Mount Rushmore? Ooh, the movies will become a cult classic. Oh, 100% on Terrifier. 100%. Mount Rushmore, Michael Myers. We can agree on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Freddy Jason will be my 3.
Yeah,
how many's Mount Rushmore?
Absolutely.
3 or 4?
It's 4.
Ooh, I mean, Christian's not going to like it. I have to say, I feel like I have to say Leatherface. Just because he was before Ghostface. And I feel like he kind of pioneered. But Ghostface will be right after that, though. Ghostface is up there on the slashers for sure. And you can put arguments to rotate Ghostface in, I would say.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think anybody who's a little bit older than both of us, they're gonna put Leatherface on there because that's who they grew up with. And like, I mean, I grew up with Leatherface too, but the impact wasn't the same for me as it was for others. The impact of Ghostface was because Ghostface was more. And this is the reason.
Ghostface helped revitalize the slasher genre.
Yes, that's very true. But not only that, with Leatherface was like very rural, right? So like you had to meet these requirements in order to like have that type of character hold resonance with you. But for me, Ghostface was literally just this motherfucker that's in your class. You know what I'm saying? That was the
Well,
scary
plural.
part.
Plural.
Plural, yeah. Motherfuckers in your class. But like that's what made it so like, oh my god, this is awesome. And not only was Ghostface like that because it was simple, which is what we were just talking about, keeping things simple and doing less. His costume, the way that he talks to people, because like I know you don't like the slashers that talk, and I typically don't either, but the way that he talked was a little different. Because it wasn't a Freddy, right? Like after you get Nightmare 3, Freddy's just talking all the time, calling everybody bitches. Like it's different. So when Ghostface is doing it, he is like playing a game with you. You know what I'm saying? Like Billy before Saw came out, he's playing a game with you. They, I should say, are trying to fuck with you because it's easier to kill you that way. You know what I'm saying? Makes perfect sense. Also, they have all these elaborate plans that they're trying to pull off to make things work out for them. Like it makes more sense for them to talk to you in that way with the voice changer and shit. Like that to me makes way more sense, and that's scarier to me because not only is it more real, but when you get to the to why these things are happening, it's like motivation is like the motivation of you know at least a handful of people that you know right now. You know what I'm saying? Dude, for an example, my
Who
mom walked out on me.
Before we
My
get
mom
you
walked.
on a whole
Yeah,
Scream tangent, which is where we're
yeah,
going, who are
yeah.
some runner-ups after that? Because I mean, I would say that's gonna be the consensus like slasher Mount Rushmore's your Michael, Freddy, Jason, Ghostface, Leatherface will be what probably like 90
Chuck,
some percent of the answers. Who would be some
Chucky,
ones off?
Candyman.
Who?
Chucky's definitely up there. Candyman's definitely up.
Ooh, yeah.
Um, Even though Candyman doesn't have 50,000 movies, the impact of just the first movie alone
Tony Todd
is
alone is
it's there.
iconic.
Yeah, I mean,
He,
boom, there you go.
yeah. Can you do
Definitely those
Jigsaw?
two.
Would Jigsaw count?
Jigsaw,
Because that's kind of a different thing.
I
Pinhead, I think.
Pinhead for sure.
Yeah, Pinhead would be up there.
Jigsaw doesn't have the impact for me because
But would he
it's
be
not.
labeled a slasher?
I mean, no, not really. I don't think so.
Because Jigsaw
I
was
don't think
kind of
so.
in that era of like the torture stuff, like the hostels and all that. Like
Mhm.
that was really big in that era. Which I mean, Leatherface technically kind of goes in that too. He does have a final girl and stuff, but you know, who else do we
That's
have?
true. I know that we were talking. Pinhead's definitely up there for me. I think just the staying power of Pinhead is great. Uh, I want to say Pennywise, but that might just be for me because I think the here's the thing, really quick.
Pennywise wouldn't be a slasher
Pennywise.
though, would he?
Well, no, I
He's more
guess
of like a
not.
creature feature kind of.
You're right. You're right. You're right. But Pennywise is so scary. Like I'm just thinking of like staying power of how like scary they are, not just body count and weapons and stuff, but like Pennywise literally is all of your fears. He just chooses to dress like a clown. So that shit fucks me up. Cause like if I'm afraid of Michael, for an example, Pennywise can just pretend to be Michael to fuck with me. You know what I'm saying?
Michael is the number one though, and I will not. I'm not going to debate that.
Same for me. Same for me.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah, dude. I don't know. It is you don't get better. Again, less is more. I know they've gave us way too much on movies. Thank you, David Gordon Green, so much. We appreciate you. Not just you though. Others have done it too. But less is more. You don't need to know. It's scary if you don't know what are the motives. Why are they like that? You just know they're out there murdering the shit out of everybody.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely
Hollywood,
right.
though,
You're absolutely
everybody
right.
has to know why. Why? What is your reasoning? Please tell me why.
Why? Why?
Yeah, it's crazy. That's what I mean, and we've talked about this. 78 Halloween. We've talked about this extensively, but dude, it wasn't gory. I don't. There's not even really blood in it. The music is
Not really,
superb.
no.
It's suspenseful. And it's just good. It's classic. It's a 10, and I will not deviate from that. That movie is forever a 10 to me. I wouldn't change a single thing in that whole movie. I love it as is. But we're not going
It's
to go down
definitely
that
a
rabbit hole because
masterpiece.
I'm sure
No.
we will never recover. Because if we start, me and Christian, I think your slashers are your favorite too.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we start
Absolutely.
going down it here, we're not recovering. Because
I think after slashers for me is probably creature features.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
where our love for werewolves, it kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I tell you, my least favorite.
what is our last horror
like,
icon? Final thing for me on horror icons before you
Oh,
can
yeah,
say
yeah.
Art's one now at this point, right? 3 movies in, he's got a
I
trilogy.
mean, yeah.
I think Johnny will be one getting a sequel for In a Violent Nature. I'm assuming he will if they can keep going. I think it's different enough, and his knock is going to be he's very similar to Jason, but who was the last icon before we got to Art?
I don't know. I saw somebody in the chat saying something about like Poltergeist and The Ring and The Conjuring. Things with those are like when you get to like, for an example, The Ring. Samara is iconic for sure, but that's more like J horror stuff. Like that's their icon that we also love, that we adopted and made into other stuff. Insidious, I don't think really has like a character that is like iconic. Like they have the red face person, but like, I mean, that's only good for like
You mean
one
Darth
scare
Maul?
and then you're done. Yeah, Darth Maul. They have Darth Maul for the one time,
Dude,
and then after
God, I
you've
was
seen
so
it the
mad.
one
I think
time,
I saw
that's
that in theaters, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Darth Maul is what you're throwing at me right now?"
it. And then when you get to like Poltergeist, you got like the creepy clown and shit. I wouldn't say that that's enough to be up there. And then I think somebody said The Conjuring. Sorry. At the
Killer
young, but like with
Clowns
The
was rough. That's
Conjuring,
more of a cult thing that's gotten popular
yeah,
now. It's crazy how some of that's
yeah.
like coming out of the woodwork.
We've loved Killer Clowns our whole life, but now other people are finding it out because of the games and shit. Everything that you feel right now is shit that I've been feeling for like the last 30 years, bro. So like I appreciate it. I'm glad that you have joined the team, but like put some respect on the Killer Clown's name.
I'm hung up on the horror icon. Would Jigsaw be the last one before Art? The last big one? I'm trying to think who all.
I mean, I guess so. I guess so because
they're
a lot of the
early 2000s into now. I mean, he's still going.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm saying yes is because you got to remember after Ghostface, like there wasn't really like another iconic killer, like a slasher.
Right.
We started drifting into like I was saying earlier, J horror and all that stuff, and then the torture porny stuff that came up. There wasn't like a character that you could like lean on for those things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anybody after Jigsaw. Like you said, it's like a single icon. So Art,
unless you want to jump all the way back to like Reagan from The Exorcist with Pazuzu and shit, but that wasn't a slasher either. That's a fucking demon, so it's a little different.
I'm talking about like essentially after Scream has like slowed down, because Scream was your big, it thrust Ghostface into the icons in the 90s, early 2000s, and then it slacked off, and then we have remakes and extensions of the other old ones, but we didn't have, other than Jigsaw, I can't think of anybody new. You
didn't have any other ones with stopping power, because you had like old Hook dude from I Know What You Did Last Summer, but like, you know what I mean? Those movies didn't have the stopping power that something like Scream had.
I mean, I guess he could possibly go in there, old Long John Silver or whatever.
I mean, that's his name from now on.
Yeah, Long John Silver. Anyways, Art the Clown, new horror icon. Johnny could be. We'll see how that plays out. But Art's already got 3 movies at this point as the main baddie. You essentially can't kill him, I'm guessing. I don't know what happens in 3. They may kill him, but I'm going to say probably not, since they're writing Terrifier 4, unless they bring somebody new. But, okay. So, enough of that. It is time to, where do you want to go now? Do you want to go to the Penguin? Or do you want to go to, I'm assuming, do you want to save cinema for last?
Yeah, let's do cinema last.
Okay, so are we ready for Penguin, or do you have anything else you want to talk about before him?
That's actually it. That's all my notes.
Okay.
I want to go into Penguin.
Penguin. I just watched this today,
nice.
Which makes me sad because I literally want to watch it on Sundays. I've just been so busy. I'm gonna say this
Same.
again. I said it last week. I really thought I would get more of a stir out of you, but I should have known you being a Batman fan, it wouldn't really like poke the bear too much. Best show of 2024. I said what I said.
Oh yeah.
And again, no slight. I said this on the podcast I was on last night too. Best show of 2024. Game of Thrones House Dragon. Good show. Boys, good show. Penguin, just I don't know. You said something about it just scratches a different itch. It's giving me what I wanted, and it's just delivering every episode. And
Yes.
I will say that this episode 4, we have praised Colin Farrell all 3 episodes. The Batman movie, we praised him. He's got nothing but praise and love from us, and we'll continue to do so because I don't see it falling off. We didn't really have him this episode at all. We had straight Sophia, and I was in it. I liked it.
I agree. This was I'll say this really quick and then I'll let you finish. One of my favorite character so far has been Victor. And I didn't think I was gonna thrive an episode without Victor completely. And I did. I didn't expect that.
I didn't expect this to be a whole flashback. I was kind of ready, like you were talking about, like how is Oz about to get out of this situation? And
I mean, we did learn more from that, but I'm sure you'll get into that here.
Yeah. But yeah, it was essentially the Sophia backstory. First thing I want to ask you, because I do have some things I want to get your thoughts on. What did you think about the recast of her dad?
Of Falcone.
Yeah.
I
blanked on
I do have some thoughts. I keep wanting to say Salvatore, but that's Maroni.
Yeah.
Dang it. I know his name, dude. I've read him in so many comics. Carmine.
Okay, yeah,
Carmine.
there we go.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I don't know why that was such a bitch for me.
I mean, it didn't bother me. I don't really care because he's not gonna be a mainstay every episode. It was just a flashback, so I don't know that I really cared about him being cast.
Yeah.
For that, did you?
I mean, I loved the last guy that they had to be him because he wasn't like my first choice for Carmine Falcone, but I really liked him. And I can't remember the actor's name right now, and it's really fun. Turturro is his name. I don't remember his first name, but his last name is Turturro. I really like that dude as an actor. I know that he can play serious roles. I know that he can be like the scary kind of person because he was just that in the Batman. But when they cast him, I was like, okay, that's interesting. Let's watch him cook. Let me see what happens. And it was fantastic. John Turturro, I think is his name. So to see John Turturro not be in this now really sucks for me because I really liked him as Carmine in the Batman, even though like we know from watching the Batman, like his character is deceased now, right? So all flashbacks, so it's okay. But I love Mark Strong anyway, dude. Mark Strong makes more sense to be the character anyway, if you think about it. Like, I could absolutely picture him being Carmine Falcone in the Batman, just straight up being cast as him. Like, I could see that. I'm so glad John Turturro was cast. I'm so glad that he got to, do his thing because he was fantastic. And it is different seeing him recast. It is sad, but he's not in the Penguin because of like scheduling conflicts. He just wasn't available to do it. He would have done it. He just literally just couldn't do it the days that they needed him to film. So I understand that. And then them recasting him as Mark Strong was fine. And I love that they keep the glasses on him all the time to like as a visual cue. I really like what John Turturro did in the Batman. I think he's a fantastic actor. I think he was really good in the role. He's not who I expected, but I really liked him. But if you got a recast, then Mark Strong is like the best you could hope for, and he did a great job with what he was given for this episode. I really liked him as Carmine. Honestly, he could have just been Carmine the whole time, but like I said, I did really enjoy John Turturro. But yeah, man, I really liked it. I was into it. I don't know how you felt about the entire episode, but I liked seeing him as Carmine. He did a good job.
I like seeing a lot of Arkham, a lot of like continuation of Arkham, if you will, from what little bit we got to see in the Batman. The recast is fine. Like I said, it doesn't bother me at all. I didn't have any problem with it. Um, episode is great. I love the backstory. It is different from what I know you've told me of Sophia.
Yeah, they
Um,
changed. They made quite a few changes.
yeah, and I mean, I don't. It makes her more likable. I guess they're trying to make her sort of the hero in this, in a way.
All
As
these
much of a
people are bad
hero as you
people.
can be, I
Mhm.
guess. Which they kind of Oz is. I don't know. I mean, I guess they're just more likable. The Arkham stuff was crazy. I do have a couple things. I'm seeing there's so many speculations of who people could be, especially the
Mhm.
Arkham people. So there is two off the top of my head I want to ask about. And
Okay.
the first one, I don't really. I could see where. Because Mrs. Sin hasn't got to watch the episode yet, but what she peeked her head in when I was watching and she saw. Damn, I just went blank on her name. Magpie.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Is that Harley Quinn?" I was like, "No, I'm gonna say that's not Harley."
No,
And then she
I
said,
think
"Is that Poison Ivy?" And I was like, "I don't think so." But she does have a leaf on her face, like a leaf scar looking thing. And she made mention to like some plants. I was like, "I don't think so." But I mean, I guess it's not a super stretch for them to be doing their version.
who
But
did
I
you
don't
think
think it is. I
Harley?
don't think it's either actually.
Who did you think Poison Ivy was?
Uh, she was asking if Magpie was possibly Poison Ivy or Harley Quinn. And I was like, I don't think so.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I mean, are you gonna say one of them is? You think it is?
I mean, I'll tell you what I think when after you're done.
I mean, that's all I have for Magpie. My other character is Julian Rush,
Mhm.
which that name alone sounds familiar to me. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it, but it sounds very familiar. But there's a theory I'm seeing, and they're saying that's going to be Hugo Strange, Dr. Hugo Strange.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I don't think that's far fetched. I could see them making some changes and making that, especially how he's acting towards Sophia and stuff. I don't think that's super far out there. And I mean, that could be cool if so. What do you got for me though? I know you have thoughts on both of those and probably more, knowing you.
Yeah. So like, I know that this is a show based off of the world of the Batman movie that we got. Julian Rush, as we know him, isn't necessarily a character in the Batman, but I can tell you who I believe he's based off of from the Batman comics because they have a very similar name, and it's so the character's name is Julian Day or Julian Gregory Day, I think is his full name, but Julian Day. That character is Calendar Man from the Batman comics. And Sid, I'm pretty sure you know who Calendar Man is
Yep.
because you've watched, those animated films and you've seen his character pop up before a couple of times. But I think what they're gonna do is make Julian Rush Calendar Man because that's the thing that makes the most sense for him. And I think they'll have Hugo Strange come in later if they even had him come in yet. Because putting him in right now, they could do. They could totally do. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense right now for him to be there. Now, I could be wrong and eat these words in like, a month or two. But for me, it just seems like it'd be way easier for them not to introduce him yet.
Calendar Man will be a new one too for live action.
Yeah, he's never been in the live action films before, so that would be cool. And I think that that's a really easy slam dunk for them to have. So I think he's going to be Calendar Man. But I have seen some of the other buzz, like for example with Magpie, like is she Harley Quinn? I think they want people who aren't like well versed in the characters to think that that's Harley Quinn in order to help tune them in. You know what I mean? But like obviously she's not Harley Quinn. We saw her fucking die
Yeah.
like before the episode was over. So if that was your theory, then it got busted within the episode. So sorry. Um, but as far as characters being like Poison Ivy, I've seen a couple of people online saying that Sophia is going to be Poison Ivy. And I was like, if a character has a greenhouse, that doesn't make them Poison Ivy. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's pretty. Yes, she was in a greenhouse, but no, like she showed us at the end of the episode why she was in the greenhouse, showed us why she took that little girl to the greenhouse. The little girl was the only innocent person in that entire house. And that was the whole thing. She says it in her speech before she killed them, right? Like, I was innocent and none of you helped me. She's talking about people who are actually innocent getting the help that they need. That little girl was innocent, isn't innocent. What's her name? Gia, I think.
Mm.
So Gia's innocent, therefore Gia was spared, but everybody else in that house is a total piece of shit. So they're all gone. The only other person in that house that isn't innocent is Sophia now, right? But she wasn't innocent to begin with because she did kill a person. Like she wasn't the hangman in this, which in the comics she totally fucking is the hangman. So I understand why they made that change because it makes the drama more dramatic in the show that she's totally innocent and doesn't do this and doesn't do that. But you've seen her in the comics and in the animated movies and shit. Sophia is a brick shithouse of a person, and she literally just beats the shit out of and chokes people to death. Like that's her whole shit. But anyway, I do like the change because it makes sense for the show and it doesn't take away from Sophia's character because the person that they have playing Sophia is very intense with the way her eyes are, how big they are, how open they are, and her facial expressions. She's very smart, but you can see from this episode being the flashback as opposed to her character now, she was a very different character. So as Sophia, pre Arkham, was a very different Sophia than post Arkham Sophia. Post Arkham Sophia is like a supervillain. You know what I'm saying? She's very calm and collected until she's not anymore, until she fucking snaps. And that's part of her intensity. But pre Arkham Sophia was just a normal ass person. You know what I'm saying? Like what you would expect any rich person to act like, just not a piece of shit. So yeah, I really like seeing that difference. This episode was different without Victor, but it wasn't like unwelcome. I loved the episode. I'm not gonna lie. My wife really liked the episode. I actually showed her all the episodes leading up because she had only seen episode one, so she kind of binged all of them last night and liked this episode a lot. She loved the ending because like it's really easy to be on Sophia's side, especially after seeing her go to Arkham,
You
and
see her
then
evolve too, like you said, pre Arkham,
mm,
like how she
or
is.
break really. I don't think you see her evolve. I think you see her break
Well,
as a
I mean,
person.
even like to the end, her skipping around in the yellow dress, like wardrobe, hair, makeup, everything, like her character changes throughout the time, and you definitely see it. And the skipping in the end, I love the little skip, like hopping around checking the dead bodies.
Yeah, that's fair. And that was a cool thing to see, mostly because at this point she is fully unhinged and has no one to answer to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So how's that gonna work? And she know, like we found out in this episode that Oz was outed in the last episode fully. Like there is no mystery about it. Sophia was sitting there, and what's his name, Salvatore Maroni, like his wife, essentially showed up, had him at gunpoint, was like, "You think you can fuck us?" Like she spilled the beans. Like you had her brother killed. She doesn't know, and she's like, "Oh my god, you did this." Blah blah blah. Right after he was telling her, like, "Trust me, I'll teach you how to trust me." Blah blah blah. We get all that going on. So Oz is completely fucked. And because the show is called The Penguin, like he's got to come out on top. But like, how is that going to happen? The only way that can happen if Sophia is taken out or goes back to Arkham, right? Like those are the only two things that can happen. Have Dr. Rush trying to keep her out of Arkham. He's the person who got her out to begin with. He's clearly into her, and she's a part of her, like old Sophia, if you will, is into him, but new Sophia doesn't trust men like at all. And rightfully so. Every single man that she's ever been into or trusted has, fucked her over. So here we are. And I think that's really good storytelling, not because it's like men versus women, all men are trash type thing, but you could easily look at it this way. Every single man that Sophia trusted was already a piece of shit to begin with. You know what I mean? Like she trusted Oz, who was like her driver, who seemed nice, but he's a schemester, right? Like that's his whole thing. She trusted her dad, who was like world famous gangster. Like how could he be a good person? So there's that. She trusted her brother, who makes the most sense because he was actually pretty trustworthy for her, and he didn't really know his dad's plans. At least that's what they want us to believe for these episodes, which makes sense. But like she kind of knew what she was getting into with her brother. Like, how were you really trusting this person to do all your stuff for you? Like, look at him. He clearly can't take care of his own shit. He's outcast so much so that your dad is giving you the brother's position, right? Like, so fuck it. And then all the other men don't like you anyway because they're all pieces of crap, and they don't trust you because you're not like them. So like every single man you trust sucks. So like she can only trust Dr. Rush so much because she needs him. So she's essentially just using this dude right now, which we can see. Like she was using Oz too. Like she's not an idiot. She was using Oz to get what she needed, which was to be the head of the family and all that stuff. But Oz was also using her. So like that's the good thing about those two characters. They are very, very similar. They're both very smart. They both know how to think on their feet, and they both want the same things and are willing to do whatever it takes to get to those things. Especially Sophia now, post Arkham, she's much more willing to fucking kill or fuck somebody over than to trust them and be super hurt that something has happened. Because notice how when she found out that Oz betrayed her, she wasn't even all that hurt. She was more so like, I should have known this happened. I can't believe I trusted you again, as opposed to being like, how could you do this to me? You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah.
she's not an idiot, which I really enjoy. Um, I did like seeing Oz like be the driver, like him in his younger makeup with the full head of swiped over hair, combed over hair, if you will, and like him saying, "I swear to God, I didn't know what your dad was gonna do." Blah 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 blah. We already know that's bullshit because this whole episode is a flashback, so we already know that Oz is in on every single thing that was gonna happen. He got the club, he got the drops operation for himself. Like that was his reward essentially, and he's already told us he doesn't regret that, which is very true. He said that in a moment of weakness, but also Sophia was like the perfect scapegoat. Like it sucks what happened to her, and I don't condone that obviously, but like now we get to see what Arkham was like, and that was Arkham pre-Batman because remember the Batman took place like at the same time as the Penguin. The Penguin is like what a week after the Batman,
Yeah.
so we didn't have a Batman then because he's only been Batman for 2 years, which means most of her stay in Arkham, there was no Batman. So we don't know what kind of people were in there, who it was run by, nothing. And we still don't know what that's like now, mainly because, as we can see, Batman as a whole, like the character, was more focused on cleaning up Gotham, not cleaning up Arkham. He didn't care what was going on in Arkham. That wasn't on the radar. So I'm excited to see how they incorporate some of that moving forward. But the show itself is fantastic. This episode was really good. We barely had any Oz in it, so like no Penguin, and we didn't have any Victor in it, which he's my favorite character. But we still had a fantastic episode, and it was all flashbacks, getting all the stuff with her dad, Carmine Falcone, and like how he likes to choke bitches out and all that stuff, and has some scratches on him, and her mom hung herself. Like all of this stuff was fantastic work. This was great writing, great acting. Just good shit, dude. We're not getting shows like this year. Like you said, definitely best show of 2024. Like the proof is in the pudding, dude. We're 4 episodes in and we're already saying it's the best shit we've seen.
Is
It
it
just
8
so
or 6?
happens. No, we're only 4 episodes in, but it's supposed to be 8 episodes altogether.
Okay.
I'm pretty
So
sure.
we're halfway. That's all.
Yeah, halfway through, and it's already this good. Like, come on.
I
Like,
mean, it was
this shit is
already
great.
after the first episode. You could already say it's probably gonna be the best show, and then by the second, third, we were like, yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, the show's fantastic. I could talk about it for days, which I don't want to do right now, but I love it, and I can't wait to get to the next episode, dude. Just spoon feed it to me.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a great show. Colin Farrell does not win an award for this. It is a travesty, and not just him. There's a bunch of actors on. Like everyone is crushing it. I haven't really had a weak link yet. That I'm like, like every.
I agree.
Yeah, it's been very very good, but it's time though now that we shift gears, and we let this here lovely camera run for like forever and a day. So it's time for cinema, ladies and gentlemen. Cue long camera. Get your popcorn. I wish we had like the let's all go to the movies. Let's all go. Like
It'd
that's
be
what
pretty funny.
we really need for this segment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you
Be
just
cool
sing
to
it
see
for us
that.
during the little...
Nah, I don't think you guys need that.
Well, fine then, since you don't want to give us nothing in the movies over now. All right, this week's cinema was The Autopsy of Jane Doe from 2016, and it was suggested by our last call specialist, Mr. Jordan. I did not get to write detailed notes just because stuff has been crazy, so I got my fun-filled fun notes. And
Okay.
yeah, Christian, you ready for my fun notes? We definitely can talk about it at length more, but my Cliff Note fun notes. Emil Hirsch and Brian Cox are in the movie and are your stars of the movie. Emil Hirsch has been in several things, including Lone Survivor, I believe. And what was I thinking of? I literally was thinking of his other movie earlier. I say other movie. He's in several movies. What the hell am I thinking of? What's the other thing?
You got me.
Christian's no help right now. Christian's looking at weenie pictures.
Yep. I'm actually trying to find what else he's been in.
Those that do not know who Brian Cox is also in Trick or Treat.
Yep. It's the voice is the same, dude. I was just waiting for him to say, what's that character's name? What's the teacher's name in Trick or Treat that he's talking shit to? Fuck, I forgot his name.
Oh, Wilkins.
Wilkins! Like, that's all I could think of when I was watching the movie.
Damn dog on your yard. Still one of the favorite lines in all of Trick or Treat. I know we've derailed to Trick or Treat. Is Charlie Brown's an asshole.
Charlie Brown's an asshole.
All right. Anyways,
oh my God.
Back to it. So yeah, Brian Cox, Trick or Treat's in it. Movie came out in 2016. First note I have: Bolton can straight up suck it.
Dude,
Bolton is in it. He's a cop, and while he's not a douchebag, the fact that he tells him, "Hey, I need this done tonight," and I was like, you know what? I'm not dealing with you. I've seen enough of you in Game of Thrones. You can just suck it. That's all I got for you, buddy.
I can't see a lot of those characters, actors, the same way.
Once you get him associated with like a big role, it's really hard to see him out of it. It is an interesting horror movie. This is not my first time seeing it. This is, I think, my second time seeing it. Brian Cox is doomed to get shit on in horror movies. And this time he actually didn't deserve it, unlike Trick or Treat, which he 100% did deserve it. This time he actually wasn't a douche nozzle, and he still got shit on. She's a witch, Harry. That's one of my notes.
That sounds close to my notes.
Girlfriend got.
Bro, I already didn't like her anyway, but damn.
Okay. These are my short notes, and then we'll go in more detail, so hopefully you guys enjoy these. Dad offers himself up and gets just straight up effed. I fell for him. That hurt me. And Emil, I can't think of his name in the movie. Emil still dies, even after Dad's
His name is shit, hold on, it's in my notes. Hold on, I got it. I thought I had it. Maybe I'm a liar. Sorry.
Okay.
Austin. His name's Austin.
Austin. Okay. He the dad is like, "Take me, I won't put up a fight. Just don't hurt my son." And then she's like, "All right." Screws him up, and then he still gets got. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It was kind of brutal.
So final note is, it was a really, really bad night of work.
Austin should have went on that date.
Yeah. Should have went with old Chickadee. It is a cool movie though. Nice little twists and turns, a little supernatural. And then we'll get to my rating here in a little bit. But what do you got note wise, Christian? How detailed did you make your notes? Because mine were just cliff notes.
I didn't make mine overly detailed this time around because I expected you to do it this time around. Which
I mean, I did it last week because you watched the wrong damn movie.
Hey man, look, it's cool. It's cool. I still had some notes. No worries.
I mean, we can discuss it. Like, the movie's fresh on my mind. So
yeah, I mean, I'll say that the atmosphere was really good for this
Yeah.
movie. Like as far as like just looking at it, the atmosphere was there the whole time. Um, I love that the person that was playing the body, like Jane Doe, the what was her real name? I don't know how to pronounce her real name. I'm not gonna lie. Like Ovwin Catherine is her name. She was a real person that whole time. Like they never used like a dummy. So I thought that was like a really cool choice to make because they could have easily have made that just a dummy or CGI or a combination of both. But yeah, to have a real person sitting there essentially as a corpse the whole time, fantastic.
You
Um,
know, it had to be cold.
oh, for sure. I'm sure they had it warm in there for her, but like, how warm was that going to be? Well, the lights and shit. But yeah, I'm
I
sure it
mean,
was
she just
cold
lays
because
down all naked on the
she's
table. It's like, hey,
effectively
Brian,
nude.
Emil, just do your thing. I'm just gonna lay here.
Yeah, she's effectively nude the whole movie. I'm sure she had like some kind of like skin toned like tops and bottoms on it at certain points, so she wasn't just sitting there out like that. But whatever. Um, I did notice like when the movie started, we had like the four dead bodies and some blood, leading us to believe that there was some kind of struggle. We had the cops find the body of our Jane Doe character that was like half buried in the
Yeah.
ground, but also perfectly clean, no ID whatsoever. And then the cops, I remember, said that she. It seemed like people were trying to get out, not in, which was interesting. Um, and then when we get to the mortuary, from our two main characters that you just mentioned, it's like old and musty, kind of decrepit at points. That was it's a contrast from the two places that we just got to. The cop comes in, tells them that they have to do this thing tonight. After we already found out that Austin, the son, was supposed to go out on a date with his girlfriend. I don't remember her name off the top of my head. What was her name? It was Emma. Emma's her name. He's supposed to go out with Emma. He ditches her to go with his dad, even though he tells Emma that he doesn't want to be a part of the family business. He wants to do his own thing. Blah 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 blah. The same stuff we hear in like everything. But I did like that when they started the autopsy, excuse me, on Jane Doe. She had the like hazy eyes that they said only happens if a person's been dead for a really long time. She had the peat moss up under her nails and in her hair. She was missing like half her tongue. I think a tooth was missing, and then her wrists and ankles were like shattered. Like they noticed a lot of stuff right off the bat. They start the second phase of their autopsy, and they notice that the body is bleeding, which shouldn't be happening and doesn't happen often. Um, the lungs are blackened, her organs, all of them seem to be cut in places. And then Austin goes out to check like banging that they hear from outside. He sees the figure of a female, of like a woman. So when he goes to check it out, there's nothing there. And then he finds like his cat, his dad's cat, literally from like earlier in the movie. That's all fucked up and dying. So Tommy, the dad, has to break Stanley's neck to end his suffering and all that. So we get a kitty cat death, which sucks. And he's really upset because the cat was like the last thing that he had of his excuse me, of his late wife who passed, and we don't know how she passed, why she passed, but he's sad about it and closed off and never talks to his son about it. So that's going to be a plot point. This is how I'm writing my notes, by the way. Um, let's see. Then they check her stomach and they find, I think, a ginseng weed flower, which causes like a paralysis. So that's crazy. So, I mean, this woman has been worked on. Once I saw the flower in her belly and they mentioned that it was weed, I was like, well, she's clearly a fucking witch. And in my notes, I actually wrote, I don't know if you can see this, but it says, this bitch a witch. So, like, there's that. And then they like peel her skin, and you see the inside of her skin is marked just like the cloth that they found earlier with her tooth wrapped in it. And it kind of looks like either a map or sigils for some kind of spell, which we find out the latter. So there's that. All the lights start buzzing real hard and then like explode. at one point. So it's super dark. They can't see. And then when the lights come back on, all the bodies are missing. And then we hear the bells because I forgot to mention, but the dad, Tommy, puts bells on the toes of like all of the cadavers that they get in. And they explain it in the movie like they used to do it way back in the day because they couldn't tell the difference between somebody who was dead and in a coma. So they would put those bells on people, and if they would hear the bells ringing at any point while the people are in the morgue, they would know they're alive. They were just in a coma, so they don't like start cutting them up and shit. So they hear the bells ringing, and then at that point, we see like one of the bodies is walking around outside of the door from the office that they're working in. Uh, they get attacked at one point. Tommy's skin gets marked, and it looks really weird and kind of burnt in a spot, and that starts to spread. We get a jump scare. They set her fucking body on fire, and then and everything burns, all their evidence and everything, except for Jane's body, of course, because she's like perfectly fine. She's the Khaleesi. They didn't know that. If they just would have paid attention, they would have realized. But aside from that, they hear the bells again. And we get, I just literally said in my notes, elevator scene. So we get the elevator scene where they're struggling against, I'm just calling them ghouls because they're like undead bodies or whatever, and I didn't want to call them zombies because that seemed a little too much. But there's this ghoul attacking them essentially, and Tommy the dad fucking cracks this bitch like right in the head to take it out, and then you find out that the body that he just knocked out was Emma. So he just killed his son's girlfriend on accident, and I was just I should have seen that coming, to be honest with you, but I didn't realize that this movie was going to be a lot like movie that we actually talked about last week, where we're getting this weird like time distortion and shit. So characters are seeing shit, but they're not. Like we've been doing it a lot. This for it seems like all of our movies for cinema have been like, is this happening? Is it not happening? Like in all of the movies that we've watched so far,
Yeah.
that's been a through line. Like Jordan, I don't know if that's like your favorite type of horror movie or not, but everything that you have told us about that's been like the case. So like, I mean, no, if I don't think that's bad. Like that's kind of cool. I just noticed it when I was watching this movie last night that's what was going on. Anyway,
Jordan likes to question reality.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know what that says about you, Jordan, but if that's your shit, let me know in the comments. Mark's his the mark on his body spreads through Tommy's body. They're blaming each other for Emma's death, and then we get Tommy opening up emotionally to his son, finally talking about the death of his wife, Austin's mom, how he feels guilty about it, how she killed herself, and he feels super guilty because he didn't see it coming and he didn't do anything. This is, in my opinion, this is the best scene in the whole movie. Like we really just get to see this actor just like show us his chops, bro. Ryan Cox went hard on this part. He put his foot in this part, dude. He did what he's needed to do. I felt the emotion. Austin's character is responding to this. Emil Hirsch, like this was a really good scene. I personally think it was the best one in the film. And then we're trying to think. Let me see. We're trying to get out of the building. The building is smoking because somehow Jane's like witch powers have activated the furnace or whatever that the incinerator that they use to burn bodies, and turned it up so high that it's just smoking out the building. So that's crazy. So they can't see anything when they go back to finish the autopsy, of course. Then they kind of find out that Jane, not only is she a witch, but didn't want her body to be opened up and worked on. So she is essentially enacting her revenge by making everybody around her feel the pain and torture that she felt when she was alive. That's at least like how I'm reading the movie. I don't think that they said all that, but that's what I'm getting from watching the scenes. Then we see a ghoul attack Tommy, the dad. Then we get the brains scene where they're like doing the autopsy, and they finally move on to her brain, which I believe is the final part of their autopsy because it's in 4 parts. I think that's the final part. So we get to that. They take a sample of her brain. They do like a little biopsy of her brain. We get that, and then you find out that her brain is alive. Of course it is. Like makes makes the most sense to me. Um, so and essentially, like on her body, I think they find a Bible verse, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't write that part down, but I think they find some kind of Bible and look it up because I didn't have the patience. But I assume it's something to the effect of you start fucking with spirits and you find out. It's just
I don't think that's
essentially
in
what
the Bible.
you sure? I'm pretty sure that's in there.
Oh my god.
So you get that, and then they confirm that yep, she's absolutely a Salem witch. So that you have that. Um, they tortured the shit out of her. They hung her, but no, they tortured the shit out of her, but they didn't hang her. Her body's not burnt, and she doesn't have any like rope marks or anything on her, so she didn't get hung and get her neck broken or anything like that. I noticed. But the symbols that we see on her skin, the inside of her skin, those are, I think they're called ritual circles. I think. I'm not Wiccan, so I'm not sure. But I think those symbols are ritual circles. I already said this, but yeah, she wants everybody to feel the torture that she felt. So she's, essentially torturing the shit out of these dudes. She's gonna kill them. The storm that's outside right now that has brewed since the beginning of this movie has, taken a turn for the worse, and it is full on chaos outside. But they need to get outside. Tommy, the dad, offers to help her in order for her to save his son, which is Austin in the movie. I don't remember him straight up saying "take me instead," but he probably did.
Yeah, he
Um,
says, I won't fight. I won't put up a fight.
that's
Please
right.
just leave my son alone. Like, pretty much take me. You can do what you need to do. Just don't hurt Austin.
You're right. I was getting sleepy around this time because I started watching this movie last night. But yeah, you're correct. You're absolutely right. So thank you. And bruh, he just like it sucks. Like his eyes get real gray and hazy like hers. He's got this black smoke coming out of his mouth. He's essentially just going through really quickly all the torture that she went through. When before she was dead, if you will. So that sucks. And then the dad dies. It's really emotional, and Austin is trying to leave, but then the dad comes back as a ghoul, and like Austin's scared, trying to fight him off, and then falls over a fucking rail and dies, bro. Like, are you kidding me? I should have expected that. Honestly, I did expect it, but then I kind of started to forget about it because I was getting sleepy and I was writing notes down. So I was like, whatever. But like, he just fell over and died, and I was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen now? The cops show up, of course, after this. Everybody's fucking dead. It's very reminiscent of the beginning of the movie with the bodies from the like basement or whatever that we found. They found, excuse me. Um, then we find out the crazy reality warping shit that I was mentioning. Jordan likes. Um, they never even fucking started the autopsy. Oh, let me mention this too. I forgot to write this down in my notes, but when Tommy, the dad, offered himself to keep his son alive, when he suffered and she killed him, essentially, like her body started healing. I don't know, like I don't remember if you saw that part or not, but like certain parts of her body healed up. So like her eyes weren't cloudy anymore; they were like regular fucking eyes, like she was alive. Her wrist and ankles started like reforming a little bit, so she wasn't like all busted up and broken. And something else happened, but I forgot what it was. But yeah, so that happens. The cops showed up. You learn that they never even fucking started the autopsy to begin with. Jane is sitting on the table completely untouched. I thought that was really cool.
Is she
And
untouched or she
then,
just healed from it?
well, to them, she's untouched.
Okay.
Like the autopsy never started because remember they cut into her, they cut her brain, all
But
that
they
shit.
really did do the autopsy.
I think what it's hard to say. I think that they actually didn't start the autopsy. I think she was making them see that stuff because the part that I'm about to mention right now. Remember I told you about the storm that was outside and like how it got really fucking crazy. Well, we hear on the radio that this is the fourth
Yeah.
day of straight sunshine. So like none of that even happened to begin with. So either she started the storm just relative to where she was and where they were, and nobody else saw this somehow, or there was no storm to begin with, and everything that they've been seeing because of her like witch powers or whatever. She's a reality bender. Literally wrote in my notes, she's a reality bender, Scarlet Witch, just like the Marvel character. So the paramedics kind of take her away, and hear the bell ringing on her toe, and you see that her foot is moving because she's alive. And my last note just says in all caps. Hold on, let's see if you can read that. Fuck. So yeah, man, I'll give you my review after you ranking or whatever. But yeah, that's the movie.
I think so. It's not really fair for us to put Jeepers in the ranking since we'd seen it. We already loved it.
Mhm.
So excluding Jeepers, I think this is my favorite that we've watched so as far as like acting, story, and stuff. I would say I'll give it a 7. Like it's my second time watching it, and
Mhm.
like I'll rewatch it. You know, like I think it's solid. Supernatural, witches. You have a pretty good cast. You know, like both actors, the main actors, I like them. I think they do a good
Mhm.
job. And you know, it's not you're in one location, which for the most part, and I mean that's fine. It gets the point across,
Mhm.
gets the story. It's a shitty night trying to do an autopsy on a witch, and yeah, so
I mean, yeah, man. I think my rating is pretty close to yours. I am struggling to give this movie either a 7.5 or 8. I really liked it. Jordan, if you're still listening,
this is the best you
this is
gave
the
us.
this is the best one, dude. This was dope. Give us more of this stuff. Like
Yeah,
this was awesome.
I
Give
think
give
Autopsy
me.
is a good horror movie. I would recommend it to people. Like this is one. Like I actually talked about Triangle last night. I think Triangle is a cool concept. I just kind of like you. I think if I would have saw it when it come out, I would have liked it a lot more. But Jane Doe is almost 10 years old. It's 8 years old, but it's still solid though. I think it's cool. Like it's a cool concept. It's a different take on witch stuff. We don't have her jumping up doing stuff. She stays dead pretty much. You know.
We only get like what 2 3 jump scares in this whole movie.
Yeah, it's just a creepy, solid
It's
story.
it's atmospheric,
Yeah,
bro.
it's good.
Like
It is good.
yeah.
This one is not a Boo Boo Shoes movie. So yeah, here we go. No Boo Boo Shoes. This one's actually a positive rating. The other ones have been they've been about like middle of the pack for the most part. Like
Yeah.
they haven't been exceptional, but yeah.
Speaking of Jordan, he just said that it's a quick like 84
Yeah, it's
minutes.
not
It doesn't
long.
drag on. Yes. I don't need everything to be super short, but it does help me when movies aren't the longest thing I've ever seen, especially with plots that are pretty simple like this.
One
But
location, we
because
don't need this longer than that.
oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So they do
But
what they
I
needed to
really
do.
liked it. Yeah. This was good. I like this a lot. Like I said, I want to I don't know if I should. I'm just gonna fuck it. Right now, it's an 8. I really liked it. It might dip down a little bit if I watch it a second time, which I really plan to do. But like, I'll. This is one of those movies I like so much that I'll watch this again in the near future. Like, I'll probably watch this one again before spooky season is over. I
Okay,
liked it that
nice.
much. Yeah.
I won't more than likely.
Well, you're watching so many things.
Yeah, I watch stuff every night. We have a different one, but I watched. I want to say last year, either last year or the year before was the first time I've seen it, and I was and Miss Sin's parents had hyped it up like they said it was really scary, and I watched it. And I was like, obviously it didn't affect me, like it didn't scare me, but I'm also desensitized. I watch a lot of horror anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. But I was like, it's a solid movie. Like I didn't really have any complaints about it. You know, it does what it needs to. It has its CGI stuff, but I mean, it's not like
It's
over.
not egregious, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does its little portions that it needs to, but for the most part, it's just pretty much just the actors going through creepy shit going on in the thing and trying to solve what happened to her. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
good movie. It's a solid movie. Definitely a thing to recommend for spooky season for you guys. And while we're on the subject, we might as well go ahead and lock in next week's.
Yeah, let's do it.
But before I do that, I do want to say, Christian, you're probably going to hate me. We may have to move. I don't know. So when we record these live, we do them on Thursdays, and Halloween is on Thursday, and I don't know that I'll be able to do it on Halloween because I'll be taking the little gremlin trick-or-treating.
No worries. I didn't even think about that,
We may have
but
to do it the
not
day
a problem.
before, so you may get. I know you do them on Thursdays. We may have to do it Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll make it happen. No problem.
Yeah. So we may have to move that one just that way because we got to go out and scare stuff and get candy and all the fun things that you do on Halloween.
Yeah. No,
Um,
yeah, we're good. We'll make it work.
okay, so let's lock it in. What we have on the list currently is Lamageddon. We have The Uninvited. We have The Burning, The Invitation, and Pulse. Looks like the only ones we have on the list currently.
Hmm. I don't know what The Burning is. What is that?
Burning is an old one. It's from 1981. And it
Hmm.
is on, according to this, I think it's on Prime.
All right. I don't think I've ever seen The Burning. Like, actually, well, no, I definitely
Why
haven't
does it sound like a
because
witch movie?
it does sound like a witch movie, but I don't think
I
it
don't
is.
think I've seen The Burning. Let me look it up. The Burning.
If it's a slasher, then I
Is it a
probably have
slasher?
seen it. If it's what I think it is, it's a slasher, and I've seen it already. It's like one of those Jason type, like Friday the 13th esque
Yeah, it's
movies.
what it
I'm
says. A
pretty sure.
janitor at summer camp is accidentally burned severely from a prank. Years later, he is released from the institute and returns to the camp with a pair of. That's all I'm seeing. Clippers? Is that what he has?
I
Shears?
think it's Shears. I think it's Shears because I have seen it. It's been a while, but I've seen this movie.
Is that him? Did I just see a picture of him? Oh wow. Okay. I mean that's it.
I mean,
What?
if that's go
It's
ahead.
a slasher. Do we do it?
I mean, you know how I am about slashers.
All
I'm here
right,
for
let's
it.
lock it in then. I think where did it say? It says Prime, is what I'm seeing,
All right,
unless it's
let me
wrong.
check Prime. Let me
We're
check
gonna lock that
Prime
in,
right now.
Christian. That means don't forget and watch the wrong movie. We're watching The Burning this week.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add that to my
Also, while
list.
you're looking at that, you would. I've seen tiny bits of Halloween, but I have not watched any Halloween yet. It is about that time in the year though when it's time for me to like heavily binge the Halloween franchise. I'm
That's
talking
true.
like as much as my eyes can stand and as much time as I can spare to do so. Just give me the original number 2. Ooh, I might start with Season of the Witch just because it's its own kind of thing.
So yeah, I'm glad that you said that because I forgot to bring this up earlier, but I did watch Halloween 2018 recently with my wife, and that was like our first date to the movies was seeing that back in 2018, and we watched it together the other day on the couch, just like hugged up, and we both still really like the movie. I do have some issues with it, but most of those issues are really only because of what comes after.
We don't
And
talk about what comes
there,
after. It didn't happen.
right. There are definitely scenes in this movie. There's scenes that are cut out because if you watch the trailer for the movie, there's a whole scene that's not even in there, which is Michael versus Laurie. And this movie, it looks like when they were originally making this, it was supposed to end with both of them dying, and they pivoted last minute and changed it. So we were having a conversation, and she was like, "Would you think this movie would be better if they did that and had both of them die instead of doing like the trap and then all that?" And I was like, one of two things could have happened to make this one, to keep the integrity of the movie still. One, Dr. Sartain putting on Michael's mask, take that shit out. That's got to go because that's like one of my least favorite parts about the movie. That's got to go. Number two, the final battle with Laurie and Michael, like when he's like trying to pull her through the fucking door and then she shoots his fingers off. That could have easily have been part of the final battle. They kept going, fought throughout the house, and then like both of them ended up getting killed for whatever reason. He's stabbing her, she's stabbing him, like whatever. They both could have gotten killed there. Or at the end of the movie, she sacrifices herself to save Karen because he's getting ready to pull Karen back down, and then I think Allison picks up his knife and cuts his arm or wrist or stabs him or whatever, and then they kick him in the face and he falls down those stairs. Like I think it could have easily been Laurie like protecting her daughter, saving Karen, going down there with Michael, them setting up the trap. The house still could have burned down, like whatever, and just literally ending it with both of them burning. And we still could have had it to where at the very end of the film, you don't see Michael anymore, you don't see Laurie anymore. Like we assume that they're dead. And at the end of the movie, you just hear Michael's breathing after the credits roll before the movie completely stops. and that would have been fine, and they wouldn't have had to do anything else. They wouldn't have to make any more. That could have been it. Um, but they made a bunch of unnecessary changes, and they wanted to do something that was, I guess, different enough to make this movie stand out. Them not being siblings, I'm so used to, but it wasn't like a turn off for me. Like I still enjoyed it. Um, yeah, that's all I have that I would have done differently right now. But other than that, it's still a really fun watch, and I loved it. But I will say, watching Halloween 2018 just makes me want to watch all the other ones. You know, not like kills and ends, but like the original Halloween
No, why not?
2,
Why don't we just
Season of the
watch
Witch.
ends just so we can hate everything?
I mean,
That's
I'm
what for
going
the
to
party. That's what I
eventually,
should do. I should just put ends on the projector so everybody can suffer.
or we could put kills on and just everybody for the rest of the whole night just evil dies
That's what we
tonight.
should. That's our thing. We're gonna start that for the whole party. Everybody's just gonna yell "Evil dies tonight," and then when someone says it, I want everybody else in the group to start saying it, and we'll start
Yeah.
chanting it.
Every time they start that shit up, we have to take a shot.
Oh God, dude! If we get that started, it will literally snowball all night. Somebody will constantly be yelling it and start everybody doing the chant. I think we should do it. It'd be pretty funny. But I'm also gonna hate everything, and I'm gonna feel dirty saying it because, oh my God, David Gordon
Evil
Green
dies tonight.
It's gonna happen.
Oh my God.
I might even make a sign and put it somewhere.
Dude, please, God. That should be the sign, like, in your driveway. That'd be amazing.
I might have to. I might have to come up with something. God, yeah, it's time for me to start my Michael stuff though. Do I want to watch ends? If I watch ends, I'm just gonna get mad though.
I'll probably watch both of them just because. Yeah, I'll get mad, but I'll watch both. Like,
You talked
it's
about
gonna
your
happen.
issues with 2018. Mrs. Sin's biggest issue, I think she had with it, was the same scene you talked about. I don't think she had as big of an issue about Sertain putting on the mask as him getting his head stomped in.
Like a
one
watermelon.
stomp. Yeah. She didn't like that. She was like, okay, that's where it was a little like, not saying like, she was just kind of like, you could have done without that part of it. Like making Michael like that, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I get that.
I was cool with it. I'll tell you, to me, I think there's two parts of this movie that I think are expertly done that I wouldn't change at all. That I think that they're like fucking masterful. The first one is literally the scene where Michael goes to the gas station and to get his mask back, and you see him throughout the movie. Like even my wife was like, "Why are we seeing it so much?" And I was like, "It's it." I mean, we're seeing it kind of indirectly because the camera's like hazy or whatever. But I love that he drives up, walks into the mechanics office or whatever, kills the dude, and we barely see anything. And then he goes to the bathroom with the old girl and just like drops dude's teeth into the stall. Love that. She kills or he kills her or Aaron comes in, sorry, to try to save her or whatever. I think his name's Aaron. He goes in to try to save her. He gets his ass beat. And then he kills her and goes back out to their trunk, gets his mask, and then starts his fucking rampage. Love all of that. And then the scene where he finally gets back to Haddonfield, like the neighborhood, and you get that long wonder of him just walking in people's houses, killing them and shit. Obviously, that scene is masterful, bro. So good. And then the music, the Carpenter's Davies score kicking in, so good. So good. And then everybody's watching the movie like, oh my God, is it gonna kill them off? Doesn't kill them. So good. All of that is fantastic. All of that is fantastic.
So which one are you watching first?
I'll probably just do it in order. I'll watch kills and then ends. I don't own those movies. So I have to like catch them streaming. And I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna rent it. I'll just buy them. I'll just buy a cheap ass.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I own Kills because it was like $5 somewhere.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. I mean, it's probably expensive now. If I got to, I'll go to a used movie store tomorrow and get both of them for like $20.
I didn't bring this up earlier because I didn't want to like when I watched this movie, I thought this was a cameo, and I was like really sure, and then I second guessed myself. Even when I looked on like to see who was in the movie and they weren't listed, I was like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just like thinking I see somebody, but I just looked it up to confirm it. I told you I watched Studios 666. John Carpenter's in it.
Oh,
he makes a cameo, and when I saw him, I was like, that's John Carpenter. I know that's John Carpenter, and then it's not a very long thing. And I kept seeing him, like, his little part. And then I was like, I didn't see his name in the credits. I didn't see it on IMDb. And I was just like, okay, maybe that was just somebody that looked like John Carpenter and I'm tripping. Like, maybe I'm wrong. But I looked up and it is him. We were talking about Halloween. I had the legend, Mr. John Carpenter himself. All right, The Burning next week for cinema. We need to do some lists next week, too. We haven't done any lists this spooky season. And we are getting there to that point. But that's going to do it for this episode. Oh, actually, it's not going to do it. I'm trying to jump the gun. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, that we...
Pass the whiskey.
That's right. Get your...
Whiskey!
As we're going into the last call, we did skip one a couple weeks ago because, you know, we get sidetracked and excited and all kinds of stuff. But we're not this week. It's last call time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to see what I'm sure Jordan has cooked up for us yet again. What kind of torture he has for us for our last call question of the episode.
Let's see what he's cooking. See what he's cooking up.
All right, we've been lucky enough to have a handful of movies where we've seen some of the big dogs of horror facing off against each other. Alien versus Predator, Freddy versus Jason, to name a few. If you could pick a movie to be made involving a clash of any horror icons, who would it be and how would they match up with each other? For me, I've been asking for Freddy versus Pinhead movie for years. Okay.
That's a good question.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like... Yeah, I'm having to put my thinking cap on. I'm trying to think, like, we were just talking about so many icons earlier.
What I would do, honestly, is I would probably try to take one that's really big and match them up with another one that's not super big, just to be able to play around with how we do those characters. So,
what do you mean big? Like
example,
big as in like stature, or big as in like popularity?
Popularity. So for an example, I would do something like what were we calling him? Fucking Long John Silver.
Long
John from I Know What You Did Last Summer. I would take like that character because the reason why I'm doing it is because you could take these characters, they could be different people taking the mantle of this thing. So like for example, you take Long John Silver from I Know What You Did Last Summer against a Ghostface, right? Or several Ghostface characters. Because Ghostface isn't just one person, it is several people. So I would do something like that because that way you can play. I mean, of course I would. That makes the most sense to me. I would do something like that because obviously I would love to see a Michael and or not team up, sorry, but a Michael Jason versus movie. But I don't know how that would make sense because you would have to have either Jason come to Haddonfield or Michael go to Camp Crystal Lake. Either way. Like, if you could somehow make that work and make it make sense, there really isn't a way that Michael's winning that because Jason is like a zombie at this point. So, like, what's Michael gonna do?
Truthfully, is there winning on any of them? Nobody's really going to win because it's going to be a Freddy Jason thing. It's going to end up being a stalemate to an extent.
Mm-hmm. You're right for the most part, yeah.
Obviously you could do like a clash of the heavyweights. You could do like Leatherface versus Jason, but again, I don't know how it would work and how that would go. And honestly, Leatherface is gonna get that ass whooped unless he can just surprise him. I don't foresee him winning. I got one for you though, Christian. Megan versus Chucky.
Hmm. I can see that. I can see that. I'll be okay with it. Would it be like the Chucky that we know, or would it be the real?
Oh, dude, we're going old school Chucky. We're not.
Okay.
I mean, I guess to make it make sense, and nowadays you could do the remake Chucky, so it's more like, them two both being AI, whatever,
Gotcha.
But that's one you could do. I was trying to think who to put Art against.
Ooh, that'd be cool. Art mean,
because Art's
cool.
gonna be.
That'd be cool.
I don't know. You know who we need to do? You need to do the Rumble from Down Under, the grudge match every 2 decades. Pennywise versus Jeepers. Match only happens every 20-something years.
The Creeper versus like Jason.
No, Creeper versus Pennywise.
Versus Pennywise. Oh, okay.
20-something years.
Got you. That actually would be fun. That would be fun.
I mean, Creeper's not winning. What's he gonna do? Eat
No.
Pennywise as he changes into everything?
I just gotta talk shit to him.
They're just gonna talk shit to each other. And neither one of them's gonna like
But the Creeper doesn't talk, so I guess Pennywise is good to go.
He'll just wink at Pennywise. And Pennywise will be like doing his little weird whatever.
Jeez.
Man. That's a good question though. When I was gullible back in the day, well, I'm not really gullible. I accepted someone saying Freddy versus Jason, there was an Easter egg where Michael is across something watching. You know how many times I watched that movie and I was like, I don't see a damn thing in the woods that you're telling me, like his mask around it. And I was like, you bunch of assholes. Candyman. Who could Candyman?
Oh, you didn't. Candyman versus Jason, dog.
Why Jason?
Why not Jason?
I mean, why we keep going? Why is everybody picking on Jason? Jason's like, what's up? Why y'all want to mess with me?
I guess because we haven't seen him on the big screen in a while. We just miss him.
Jason versus Pamela Voorhees. To see who sits on the Camp Crystal Lake throne.
I mean, that'd be an easy one. But that's funny.
Speaking of which, I watched something today. You know the Merkins, right?
The Merkins?
Yeah. They do they dress up in like Jason and Freddy and all of them, and they've done like Backstreet Boy songs and all kinds of different things.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking through stuff earlier, and it was alive, and it was one of the Merkins. I don't know which one's which, anything, but he had like old school like Walkman headphones on, doing like a TikTok live. So he was live the whole time. Scenery he had behind him wherever he was shooting was like beautiful, but he had like Walkman earphones in, and like an old Camp Crystal Lake shirt, and he was like sitting there, and people were asking him questions. He's like, "Yeah, the year's 1986." And he was telling like who the president was. Like he was like fully like, I'm at Camp Crystal Lake. He's like, it's been a great summer. And then people were saying stuff about Jason. He's like, yeah, that's a rumor. And then later he was like, okay, the kid did die, whatever. And then like another one of them would actually come out as Jason and like just get in the background. Of course, everybody would be like behind you, and then he would move, and then he would look. He's like, there's nothing behind me. And he was doing all this stuff, really cool. And then like he walked off, and like Jason walked up and sat down. They were like, I was like, this is actually pretty clever. Like this is pretty fun. With them just walking around like screwing off, doing Jason stuff.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was fun. Like I enjoyed it, and just watching people in the chat just, oh my god, behind you, and I'm just like, oh. And then he would just like playing too. He's like, guys, it's not a funny joke anymore. Every time I turn around, there's nothing there. And you could see him like looking at, I guess, the other crew like behind the camera. Like every now and then he would like look over. But it was fun. But yeah, like Jordan, thank you for the question. I would like to know what you guys out there think. Who would be a good matchup? Let us know in the comments. But if you want to submit your last call question, join the Discord or hit us up on social media at Sippin With Sin, SIPPIN with Sin. Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, all that stuff. Hit us up. Let us know. New episodes come out every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and my YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister. And then we record the episodes live over on kick.com/IamSinister every Thursday night, except for Halloween. We're probably going to have to record it a different day, maybe the day before. But, yeah, if not, it's usually on Thursdays. So, there you go. 8 a.m. on Wednesdays. Show it love. Thumbs up. Follow, subscribe. Share with a friend. And keep spreading the word. Or Jason will come visit you because, you know, that's what he does. He likes our podcast. It's just, we got fan mail. We know. So, you can find me on my personal socials at IamSinister TV, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, Twitch, if you want to go there. Then you can find me at youtube.com/IamSinister, where the podcast comes, both my podcasts. And then you can find me live streaming at kick.com/IamSinister. So you can find me. I have another podcast, Behind the Vocals. Right now, things are crazy with tours going on and stuff, so guests have been a little slow, but there are people in the works and literally just waiting on the dates to be set. And it's kind of good because, you know, Spooky Month is really busy for us. So I'm kind of not mad about it right now. But you can find that Behind the Vocals, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and over on YouTube as well. And then go show our short form content some love. We've been trying to post more clips from the episodes where Christian's ranting about whatever Christian rants about that episode. And you can go check those out and show those some love on the social medias. And let us know what you want us to watch for cinema. Keep suggesting stuff either in the Discord or on social media, and then drop those last call questions. And that's where you can find me, and that's all the information. It's time for Christian to plug his socials.
Guys, you guys can find me on Instagram at Vin Inc., all one word. You guys can also find me on TikTok at my name, Christian Vincent. Contrary to popular belief, I don't like social media so much, so that's where you guys can find me currently. I will do better about making more socials. I know a lot of people are on Twitter or X, so I'll have to make it more of a point to be on there, like actually talking to people and not just like, you know, reposting pictures of like movies and stuff. But we'll you know, we're working on it. We're working on it. But other than that, guys, that's where you guys can find me. Come say hi. Come say what's up. Let me know what you want to see more of, less of. If you got book recommendations, please let me know. Horror, obviously, but any kind of horror. You know, if you got slasher stuff, sci-fi horror, cosmic horror, like whatever you got. Throw it at me. Let me know. I am always interested to read some new shit. And obviously, movies. You guys know where to find me to tell me about movies. Ask me if I've already seen some stuff. I haven't seen some stuff. Yeah, just hit me up. I'm available.
All right. And yeah, that's what we got for this episode. So that's all you got. Thanks for listening. If you made this one this far, we appreciate it. We'll be back next week. Some more fun, some more spooky stuff. But until then, have fun going out into the street at night. It is spooky season. The ghouls and goblins are out in full force. But sadly, you don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. Until next week, it's time for us to shut it down and lock the doors tight, barricade the windows, and all the stuff that we have to do to keep the frightful things at bay. Christian, lock her down.
Thank you guys so much yet again for tuning in. If you guys have made it this far, you're real ones. Oh my God, you listen to crazy stuff for over an hour. We really appreciate it. But I'm going to leave you with 3 words. 3 words that I say every episode. If you heard them before, say them with me. If you've never heard them before, if you are new here somehow, if this is your first episode with us, listen very carefully because these 3 words might just save your life. Those words are: don't get gutted.
See you guys next week.